Surprise, surprise. I know I said I was coming on at 2 o'clock. Usually I come at 7 o'clock, and right now it's 11 o'clock on Monday, August the 19th. I'm having one of those days that is going sideways, well, more than sideways, every which way possible. So it was either totally cancel my Facebook Live or do a quick one right now because I really was ready. And those of you who are coming at 2 o'clock, I am so sorry. I did this whole blitz to let you know it was at 2 o'clock, and then things do happen. And next week, hopefully we'll be back at our 7 o'clock time. So enough of this chit chat. We are going to go down to my desktop and find out what I meant when I said I wasn't going to do this, but so let's go down to my desktop and get started here and see if we can get everything set up. I feel sort of discombobulated today. It's been one of those kind of days where plans have changed left, right, and center, and then a little. And so hopefully this Facebook Live will go a little better than the rest of the day has gone. So hopefully you're also having a good day, and that it's going a little more par for the course. But you know what? We can make whatever happens, right? We can make the best of it. So I just wanted to share with you, this was released as an online exclusive. It's called the Sophisticated Sled. It's a bundle, and I thought it was so cute, but I thought I don't need this. So I wasn't going to get it. Then I kept seeing all these wonderful samples, and pretty soon I was thinking, well, maybe I will get it. And then guess what? It showed up in my shopping cart, and then it came here. So I did get it, and I am not sorry. It is a fabulous, fabulous set. So I always enjoy when a set has words as well as images. So you can see the words here. I hope your days are filled with fun and laughter. That doesn't have to be just Christmas. It could be whatever. So just some different things. And for those of you who like snow, there's Let It Snow, right? So how many of you like winter activities like skating, sledding, walking in the snow, just watching the snow, that kind of thing? Let us know if there's a winter activity that you like. Maybe it's staying inside with some hot chocolate. I don't know. Let's look at my Get Acquainted sheet. So one of the reasons I hesitated about getting this bundle is I thought it looked too fiddly. I don't know if you ever think that, but guess what? It's not. I used this bundle in a class last week, and it was a huge, huge hit. So some of the dies cut out stamped images. So these are the stamped images that are cut out with the dies, these ones here. So basically everything except the snowflakes, right? And then there are some what we call standalone dies. So there's this wonderful sprig here that could be a bough, or it could turn into a wreath if you wanted. There is this, which is the base for the sled, but it also makes a great stained glass window or whatever your imagination takes you, and cuts out these fabulous little shapes here. This piece here, it's all one die. It cuts out the wooden part of the sled, so you can just layer it on. The skates cut out 2 at once, and guess what? They are little slits here. So then you can cut out the laces and tuck them in. You're going to see that in a minute. So you can change the color of your laces to whatever you want. And then there are these two, which are the blades, and they can, again, be cut in a different color, or you can leave everything white. And then, of course, the great stamps. So let's take a look and just see what I'm talking about. So the card that I made in my class was this one here. So I really liked how it turned out. We used some of that new vellum here, but I used the very last piece in the class, so we're not using that here. But in case you're wondering, it was called the Graceful Greenery Vellum. So there, I don't have very much left. So there's a sheet with these two designs on it, and the dies actually will cut this out, or you can use these as is. And then there's this sheet that has the evergreen boughs with snow and without snow. And again, the die will cut out those. And then there was the sheet that I've got a couple of scraps that it looks sort of frosted like that. So that's what I used on the one in my class. But because we don't have it, we're not going to be using that today. We're going to change a few things up. This paper here is from the Iconic Celebrations paper. And yeah, we're going to sort of do roughly the same thing as this, but make a few changes. So we'll put that over here, and let's open this one up. So when I do a class, everything comes in the envelope. So we're going to use the paper from the Winter Meadow. So this is one of the papers that's on sale. And again, I don't have a ton left, but it's gorgeous, gorgeous paper. Here's one piece here. Look at that. Wouldn't that make a great sky? And this is a favorite of mine too, like that. And then you can see a few scraps in here. This is one of the papers that's on sale this month for 15% off. So I need to replenish it and get some more. So we're going to use just a strip. So this is 2 inches by 5.5. And we are going to use that. Oh, I should start with the card base, right? The card base is going to be a regular half sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle, and we'll reinforce that score right now, burnish it so it's nice and crisp, just like that. So that's roughly what's going to happen there. Then we're going to bring in this piece. Now we don't have the vellum to add some interest, so I've got another plan to add some interest to this sheet. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Then we're also going to bring in some paper to do some die cutting with. And one of the neat things is I use the Country Woods designer paper, because all the paper in here is wood grain. So I used one of the browns here on this one, but I thought with this color palette we're using here, this one might look nice. So the neat thing is all of these little pieces, they can actually be die cut at the same time. So let me just bring this in and set it up. So we're going to use Smoky Slate for the sled. So we've got this here for the sled. Now you might be saying, what is this piece for? This is like a frame for the sled if you wanted. We're not using it at this time, but some of the samples at the end, you will see how that works. And we've got our wood grain paper here, and so we've got this. Can you imagine what that's going to look like, all that detail? And it's all going to be cut out at once, and we'll put that here. Oh, I've got all kinds of bits and pieces. Then we're going to do the wreath. Now the little wreath sprig, some of these stayed in here. The little wreath sprig I could have done so here's our paper. So I could have done it in Pretty Peacock or Lost Lagoon, but I wanted to use some of the designer paper, so I'm doing that. So one of the theme of my month, has been using designer paper, and instead of using a whole big chunk of it, what I'm trying to show you today is you can use your designer paper for other things like die cutting and that kind of thing. So I need my skate laces. There we go. So the lace is cut out 2 at once, the blades cut out 2 at once, and the skates cut out 2 at once. So there we go. We're going to slide this out of the way so we have room for our Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Bring that in, just like that. The other thing that these dies, I mean, you couldn't set it up just like this, but each one of these is small enough to go through the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. So if that's what you have, you would still be good to go. So let's run this through here. Go. We'll dump everything off and look at just one swipe through. We've got all the pieces that we need. Move this out of the way. And we'll poke these out so we've got them. I'm going to bring in my little tray here, and I'm actually going to bring in this. So we've got 2 skates, and we've got the skate blades. I love how easily everything punches out. And you see, you end up with these little, let me just get shapes like this from the sled base. It makes a great window card. That'll be for another day. And we've got little holes to poke things out. So there's the sled base. And here is the sled part you sit on. Now these have little holes that add interest and reality to it, and just make sure those are poked out. And look at the detail. Can you see the detail there that's gone into that? It's amazing. I just love it. Get those pieces out. Now, I could have used adhesive sheets, but I'm going to show you how quickly and easily it is to build this. You don't really need the adhesive sheets. Okie dokie, we've got that. We've got the laces. And the reason I didn't pre-cut all of these is I wanted you to see that these really come out beautifully. So we take a minute to poke out the little holes here. Just make it easier in the long run. Let's get rid of some of this. And there we have it. So now we can start to build our card. So this is what we're aiming at. So our first step is going to be to just glue this down here, top to bottom. We could use that side, but I kind of like the trees. So I'm going to go with that. Oh, Joan, I'm so glad you're here. I'm sorry for all the time changes today. It's just been one of those days. Whoops, I smeared a little glue. I always keep a cloth or a wet wipe or something on my desk. So we'll just wipe that up. And so we've got this look here. Now, because I don't have the vellum to add interest to this, I could leave it just the way it is. But I thought it would be fun to use an embossing folder on it. Now, my first thought was to use the Snowflake Sky embossing folder. And that would look great but there's also a new embossing, actually there's several new embossing folders coming in the mini catalog, and one is the birchwood. So let me think, which one should I use, the birchwood or the snowflake sky? How about, I'll use the birchwood just so you can see. Now, did you notice that the birchwood is way bigger? So some of our embossing folders are the gigantic size, so they are actually 6 by 8 3/4. So sometimes you can do 2 or 3 things in it at once. I'm just doing one today. So we'll do this and bring our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back in. And this time we're going to go right down to platform number 1. And then we're going to put the fold in first of our embossing folder like that. And then we're going to use plate number 4, the specialty plate, and run it through because it's 3D. That specialty plate helps everything to have the right tension and to get right down into the grooves, and you end up with a gorgeous embossed image here. So now we have that like that. Alrighty, so this is going to go here. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Oh, I see some hearts already. Excellent. So this is going to go here. So let's build our sled. This is where your silicone mat is a great friend because you can build everything on here. So I'm going to put the sled part down first, and I'm going to just put a couple of dabs of glue. I'm barely going to put any. I'm going to put one here and maybe one here and one here. Why aren't I putting it everywhere else? There's a couple of reasons. There are little holes here, which I don't want to hit. But once I get my sled built, I can flip it over and put glue everywhere. So we're going to put this on here so the edges kind of line up. And it's wherever you want to put it. There, like that. And then we're going to put this across here. And same thing, we're going to just put a couple of dabs, little tiny dabs, and just to hold it in place while we build it, and then we'll do the rest afterwards. So we've got it like that. Already it looks neat, doesn't it? I am loving it. So now I'm going to bring in my skates, and I want to add the blade. No, first of all, I want to add the laces. This is what blew my mind. All right, so we've got these laces, we've got these slits, and all you do is slide the lace into the slit. You don't even need any glue. I'm going to put glue on the back when I fasten it to something else, but it stays in there securely and you don't even need glue. I just need to get one little more dot out. So this, I think this is what wowed the ladies taking my class last week. They just couldn't believe how easy this was to put together and how brilliantly it was designed. And again, for the blades, I'm going to do just like I did on the sled, just a couple of little dots. Might put one on the heel too. And bring in the blades and put them down, and they match up perfectly, just like that. Isn't this cute? I just love, love, love it. I might have to do a class for these. So for somebody who wasn't going to get this, I am loving it. All right, so now we are going to, where did I put the little, I cut it out. I bet you it is still in the die. Do you ever do that? Can't find something you cut out and it's actually still in the die. So that can go there like that. Now you could layer that. You could bring in a darker color, a solid color, and layer it and make it a little more full if you want. You could also, you could cut out several, just going to, and you're going to have to use your imagination a bit here. You could cut out several and actually form a little wreath. You see? So there's tons of potential. So, and I also cut one out of this just to see what I would like. So we could go like that. To add a little, and that brings in the skates. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to do 2 on this one. I did not do 2 when I did my class, but we'll do 2 on this one. And you can do it, you can see out the sprigs, one's a little longer than the other. You can accentuate that a little bit if you want, or you can do it as is. Creative license, right? So now we've got the skate made like that. And I'm going to show you later different ways of attaching, not the skate, the sled, pardon me, attaching the skate. But for today, we are just going to fasten this down. And this is where, this first one I'm going to do straight down. I'm going to put a bit of glue here. I'm going to make sure I catch a little bit of that lace, but it's not too much. So we've got that there. And then this one, I'm going to put on a dimensional. And I'm going to just catch a little bit there just to make sure that it stays in place. But they are really pretty secure. I am totally amazed. And we'll have that one there like that. And I think what we'll do now is stop and attach it to our card, and then we can add some extra embellishments. So let's move this to the side and bring in our card. We're going to put this on dimensionals. Again, that's totally optional, pardon me. I do like that birch embossing folder a whole lot. How many of you have looked at this Sophisticated Sled Bundle, and have you bought it? Are you thinking about it? Or were you like me and say, no, I don't need it? So we've got that there. Now we're going to bring on the sled, and we can put it, ooh, boy, I'm liking that. We can put it this way, we can angle it. This one we kept straight. How about if we angle this one just for a different look? And again, I'm going to put it on dimensionals. And this is where I can add my adhesive wherever I want. This one here, I put it flat. I glued it flat down. This one we're putting on dimensionals, so you'll get some different looks here. And let's see, I just want a little one there. I have some minis handy. I will put that there. Just making sure my dimensionals are going to be hidden by what's on the front. So when I flip it over, I'm not going to see any dimensionals. And that looks good. And we said we were going to angle this one, right? So there we go. So we've just got a little bit more to do. So on this one, I put a bow. Now on this one, I cannot do the same bow because this is all that I have left of that. So definitely my order list is growing. So here are some ideas. I thought we could use linen thread. So I happen to have a bow tied, so there's that. Now, there is going to be, just because that affects our decision, maybe I should add the words next so that, yes, I'm going to. It gives us a better visual. So we'll put this here, and I've got the words let's decorate the season with happiness. And we'll use, I think we'll use Pretty Peacock to bring in the other colors that we're using there. Let's decorate the season with happiness. Now this label is from the So Versatile Countryside Corners, where you get all of these. So it's this one right there. So I had a bunch already cut from the class, so just use that. So let's bring that in, and we're going to just fasten it straight onto the top of the sled. We're not going to put any adhesive here, just on this edge here. Like that. That gives us a better idea of our ribbon. So we could use this. We could use this ribbon. So we could say the peacock and gold. So linen thread, peacock, or there's brand new cherry cobbler ribbon that is like this. So a few of you, Fran, you're surprised to see this already, so am I. Today has just gone sideways every which way. And anyway, our plans had to change 600 times today. So it was either totally cancel or come on now and trust everybody to be understanding. So we've got this, or we've got this. Fran is saying peacock. We are going with peacock then. So glad somebody's here to help me with the decision making. And got glue on my fingers. Let's see, is that a bit too big? This ribbon, this is called the Pretty Peacock and Gold metallic ribbon. It is so soft. It is so easy to use. And even for mailing, it's nice. It goes nice and flat. So, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. And what we can also use is we have the cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries. So they come in group clusters of 3 or individual, and there's cherry cobbler and clear. So maybe not cherry cobbler, but we could use clear, or we could have colored them with our Pretty Peacock blends, but I think I'll just use it the way it is. So let's fasten this ribbon down. How many are thinking this, liking this card? I really like it, and it's a totally different look, even though it's the same design from the card we made in our class. So I love it. So there we go. We've got that. We'll bring in a little cluster here of the berries. Just adds a little bit of sparkle. And we could add more if we wanted. I think that looks pretty good. Now, what about the inside? What I chose to do is I took the skate stamp and I brought in some scrap paper, inked this up in Smoky Slate, or we could have used Lost Lagoon or whatever, but Smoky Slate is what I got. So I'm stamping it once, twice. So the third impression is maybe what I want. I'm going to use that for the background. 1, 2, and 3, like that. And then you can put your Christmas greeting there and it will all be good. So is anyone interested in seeing some other samples here? I've had a little bit of fun, as you're going to be able to tell in a minute. Just let me clear this off. So here was the original. And here's what we made today. So just it's exact same design, just different colors. So on this one, I did the skates, and then I did a Merry Christmas in a dark color. So on this one, I'll likely do Merry Christmas in the peacock to bring it through. So those are those two. Let's clear this off a little bit. And I also made this one here. So this is very similar to this, but when in class I didn't have enough paper to do a full sheet. So that's why we were doing the strips there. So those, and went with a different color there. Oh, and went with the white laces. So just ways you can switch it out. This one here I received in a swap. Absolutely love it. This was done predominantly with stamps. So you can stamp the base and then stamp the wooden slats. And then this was Carmen's, and Carmen then colored this. She die cut this, and it's a fun fold. So it goes like this. And she also used the iconic Celebrations paper, totally different looking paper, but it all comes in the same pack. So we've got that. Here's another one. This is using the little bird and the wreath, and then this coming across. And I use the Snowflake Fall embossing folder here. You can see I was still using the Country Woods designer paper to do the sled on that one there. This one here, I love how striking this is. Now that I see it, I might substitute this middle layer because there's 1, 2, and then the bottom layer. White might have looked nice in that middle layer. Silver would have looked nice, but it would have taken a lot of silver. So this is the So Swirly embossing folder. That looks really great. And the sled is using just basic white paper, but see the detail from that die? And then, of course, the little berries and the silver. So again, a different look, just like that. And then last but not least, pink. So this used, remember I showed you, let me find it here, this piece here. So this person used this piece to anchor everything and then kept it in soft colors, used the Country Woods paper in the background, but just used basic white for the sled itself. And now some of you are saying, how did they do this? How did they get those laces? Well, let's go back here to the card. They stamped this, cut it out with the die, and then cut the skates off, and that's how they had the laces to go here. So it looks like that. You could use ribbon too, but I just thought that was rather genius to do it that way too. Joan, I'm so glad you're enjoying these. Is there a favorite one that you're just sort of taking them all in? So that is, I wasn't going to do it, but I did, and I am so glad I did. It's called Sophisticated Sled Bundle, and you can find them in the online store. If you're having any questions or having trouble finding it, please reach out. I'll be glad to help you. And again, thank you for being understanding with my multiple time changes today. I hope to be back on track at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And Joan, you love the navy background. It just pops, doesn't it? I'm really pleased with that too, and I like this. How many of you think I should offer a class with this bundle? I'm thinking that might be a possibility. All right, well, thank you so much. I do have to run. Take care and have fun crafting today or whatever you're doing. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.